Alright, time to begin. If you're here, we're going to just start practicing now. I was going to go over a few things. If you've been keeping up with the tuning into practice, you'll notice I'm playing with the metronome all the time. If you have a phone, I'm using this app. It's called the Tonal Energy Tuner. It's pretty cool. If I just pulled it up here. So TE. So let me pull it up in the App Store really quick. So you could get it on Android and Apple. I have like a $200 metronome over here, but this thing is way better than that. That thing I have over there called a Dr. Beat is ancient. It's awesome, but it's it's not as good as this. This is a tuner and a metronome all in one. It's called the Tonal Energy Tuner. It keeps track of how many days you practice, and it also you could set it to how hard you want it to be, and as in tuning wise, do you want it to be advanced tuning? Do you want to be super accurate with your pitches and stuff? So I would get this. It's definitely worth the money. I don't know either if it costs $5 or $15, but it is totally worth it, and this is what I practice with. I would use headphones if I were you guys. I got my headphones right here, so that you don't drive your neighbors crazy. But I use a speaker because it allows me to hear the sound of my saxophone better. So yeah, so that's it. Okay, so I'm going to start with my scales and thirds. I'm probably going to be done this and move on to my scales and fourths soon. I'm just reviewing these, so I've learned these a lot, so I'm kind of flying through them because I used to spend a lot of time on these things. I just wanted to clean up my playing. Alrighty then, here we go. So I marked down that I need to clean it. Scales and thirds at 72. Okay, let's start 84. I'm gonna not start where I normally start. Normally I start on my C, but I'm really good at the first four keys because I play them more. So I'm gonna start with the second four keys on F sharp. So if you're wondering why I am like going over a few parts a few times in a row, it's because I messed it up. So I'm doing that really quick, like real life. You know, I call it two to make it true, but I call it real life when I do it 5 times in a row, right? So just isolate the one part I need to work on personally. So that's, and it seems like it's hanging around the first 5 notes, descending and ascending in the scale. And I did it, and it worked out. So that's 2. This one's for Aiden Brown. Aiden Brown stayed after school today, and we did the real life, and so the way that I keep track, the way that he kept track was, I gave him 5 pieces of paper, and if he messed up like on the 3rd try of playing his scale, he moved it back. So you have to get 5 in a row. If you get to 4 and it's your last try, or you get to 5 and it's your last try, and you mess up, you go back to 0. It's a good way just to hold yourself accountable, but that could be brutal at times. So that's why I say to 2 to make it true in class. But when you're at home, you should do real life, which is 5. If you could play it 5 times in a row, you're probably not going to mess it up in real life. So that's what I'm going to do right now with this F sharp scale. That's 1. That's 2. I'm going to count that as 3, even though my sound didn't come out. I played all the right pinkies. That's 4. One more. That's 5. So scale was even. I played it correctly. I gave myself some leeway with the low notes. It's kind of hard to play it all in one breath with those low notes, but I bet you if I played it now with just going downwards, they would come out. Because I have more breath. Because I'm doing the whole thing in one breath. So that would be real life. You can make it as hard as you want. Sometimes I do it 10 times if I have something that I really need to get down. That came from some French horn player in some crazy awesome symphony orchestra. So now I'm going to move on. That was good. That's good too. Oh, Yeah. So it's pretty cool, like practicing day to day. Like those were really bad 3 to 4 days ago, in my opinion. Those are some tough keys for me. Like A flat, I don't really like. B natural, I don't really like. A flats, 4 flats, B naturals, 5 sharps. They don't necessarily lay well. Sometimes when you play them in thirds, like I'm doing, but like now they're coming out clean, and I don't even have to think about them. So now I could play all 12 keys in a row. So now I'm going to start speeding up in the tempo. They're all clean. I made sure that they were all clean. So now I'm going to speed up the tempo. My goal is to get them, pretty fast. Right now I'm currently at 84 doing these. But with my regular major skills, I'm like at 120. What do I got? How would I say 120? Here we go. Like 1E and a 2E and a. Like, I could probably even do it faster than that. Right? That's kind of what I want to do with those scales. So that was good. It was a little sloppy, but I definitely want to work up the speed, and I definitely can't play them all like that. And I also have to be realistic with my practice goal. Like, major scales are easy because you lift up one finger at a time and you put them down at a time, but doing in thirds, it's kind of jumpy. You have to do every other, just like 5 minutes a day. So you guys understand. Alright, time to start it. We're going to start with good old C. 1E and a 2E and a. Well, maybe I'll choose my most difficult key and then start from there so that I'm not going back in tempo. Oh. Huh. Yeah? You come on in. You can say hi. Ready. Okay, thank you. I'll be there in a bit. Okay. Why am I? That's a saxophone issue. For some reason my G sharp and my A sharp are like not going down as quickly as I want them to, so it's kind of giving me a blub. Okay, I think I'm gonna come back to that one tomorrow. So I'm having the issue right now where I think I'm relying too much on muscle memory because of the speed. And so I'm changing keys on the way down. I just need to focus. Okay. There we go. 2 times in a row. Circled around all the way back to the beginning. So I worked on those hard keys in the beginning, Yeah, it's slow tempo, and then I worked up the ones I'm normally used to at a faster tempo. I'm gonna keep it there because I know that I'm gonna go back to it tomorrow. I don't need to master it today, right? I have the rest of my life. I might try C sharp one more time though, because that one really got me. Yeah. See, I always think that's good too. Like sometimes your practice needs to settle. Like I was going at C sharp really hard, probably for like 5 minutes straight, isolating parts that I needed to do, and I just like and I learned this the hard way. Some like if it was my old me, I just keep on going at it until I played it perfectly, and then like be disappointed because it probably wouldn't happen. Now I know if I work something hard, if I just let it settle, whether it be like for 5 minutes, go do something else, come back to it, or if it's like for a day, like with my other stuff, like with those scales I worked on in the beginning, I know that tomorrow they're going to be better, so I'm going to let those settle for a day, and then come back to it. And sometimes the best day is when you take a day off. It's the same thing with muscles, like when you're working out, a rest day. On Sunday, I had a really good rest day because when I came back Monday, I crushed all my practice. Yeah, so those are just some basic tips. I'm going to do my variation of articulations a day. My goal is to like be able to tongue pretty fast, like 120 right out the bat. My cap is like 116 right off the bat, 16th notes, and doing it in the middle octave, the higher octave, and the lower octave. And since I'm just working on tonguing speed, sometimes I'll do a lot of tonguing in a row. That makes my tongue really tired. Sometimes I'll just do the articulations because it gives my tongue a break between the slurs. And I'm practicing in different registers because my tonguing responds differently in different registers. In low ones, I have to be kind of more delicate so my notes don't pop. In high ones, I could be kind of careless because I could tongue faster in the high area of the horn, but I gotta be careful not to rush and miscoordinate my fingers. So these are like a good practicer has a reflective disposition. So here I go. I'm gonna do my articulations. Oh, and sometimes when I do the articulations, I also just choose random notes to tongue for fun. Like I'll just go or and I'll just make up stuff because you know what? Making up stuff is fun, right? All right. So I'm gonna see if I can start right off at 116 with no warm up. Last time I had a warm up. Alright, so that's a good sign. I pretty much had it right off the bat. I just had to make sure I was paying attention. or I would drag in the middle, especially when I was transferring from my middle to my high register. Okay. Let's click it up to. So normally the magic number is clicking it up 4, but since I'm like dealing with a physical cap, like tonguing, I'm going to go up by 2 clicks, which is not that much in the grand scheme of things, but over a long time, I'm hoping to at least get to 130 at tonguing. Be like my first private teacher, Tony Salicandro. He was incredible at playing, at articulating notes. And think like when you're practicing things like tonguing and speed, it is like a muscle. Like give your muscles time to break. If you notice, I'm not going. Because like I'm already slowing down. It's like kind of like I'm running sprints. If you play track, you like run a sprint, you take a break, you run a sprint, you take a break, you run a sprint, you take a break. Okay? I'm gonna go up to 120. Okay, we're going on 122. I've never gone this fast before. This is pretty exciting. When I was working on this a while back, I only got to 116, which means I'm making improvement. So I'm going in between just playing a singular note and playing notes together. Um, when I think about practicing and teaching, I think music is like juggling 20 objects at the same time. You have to think about time, tempo, coordination, pitch, tonality, timbre, all this stuff. Uh, Playing with the people next to you. So, like, you could take away one of those things you have to juggle. So, right now, I'm taking away fingering. And I'm just working on tonguing. So, I'm juggling one object at a time. Or maybe two because I'm keeping the metronome with me. It may be three because I'm playing it in different registers. So, I'm just juggling three at a time instead of playing like this would be really hard to tongue. Like doing an arpeggio and tonguing. So like took me a few times to get it to settle because I'm coordinating finger jumps, which is tough. Leaps, they're called in music. Alrighty then. I think that's great for. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. I don't want to use up more than of my muscles than I need to. So before I head out, I started at 5 o'clock. It's 5:26. I mean, I guess I have plenty of time. Um, you know, let's go ahead and let's do. I've been working on this lick by Charlie Parker. Charlie Parker is, let's see, this guy over here in the front. His name is Bird. Nickname is Bird. He's considered probably one of the greatest alto players to ever grace the planet and walk on this earth, right? So I'm trying to copy him to be better. He's like one of my idols. I've been listening to his song "I Remember You" on repeat in multiple versions of that song by different artists to get better at it. And this is a lick that I wrote down from playing the song when I was soloing over it. When I soloed, I didn't play what he had, but something like what he played came out, and this is the lick. Which is E minor, A7. If you're in jazz band and you're watching, it's 9 7 5 3 1. Oh, technically it's 9 7 5 3 9 on the bottom half. So technically you're 2 3 5 7 9, and then you move to the next chord, the 5 chord from your minor, and you surround the 7. So then you would go 6 1 7 5. So I worked on that a lot yesterday in my failed attempt to, how would you say, live stream. It didn't work out well. I don't know what went wrong yesterday, but I worked on it for the first time yesterday, and it came out pretty good. It lays naturally. Now I gotta do it in all the keys, which I started yesterday. And like in the beginning part of my practice, I don't really read music unless if I'm sight reading like I did yesterday. Because I'm trying in improv, you make up things on the spot, so I'm trying to memorize my vocabulary terms. So like this is a word technically. So if I'm soloing, I want to be able to use that word freely. So if I'm going like right, and I want to be able to use that word in different ways, like change it up a bit. So that's why I'm practicing it without reading it. Like I did write it down and read it at first, and then I'm doing the musical math and transposing in all the keys in my head. So I'm going around the cycle of fifths, starting in the key that I learned it in, which is E, A, G, well, technically fourths. E, A, D, G, F, C, B flat, E flat, A flat, C sharp, F sharp, B, and then back to E. That's E. That's A. That's D. That's E. That's F. That's B flat. That's E flat. A flat. C sharp. And that's all the keys. Alright, but now I'm going to work up the speed. And for this portion, I put my metronome on 2 and 4 so I could swing a little bit. 1, a 2, a 1, a 2. And it's cool with this metronome, I'm tapping in the beat. That's why the tonal energy tuner's cool. So right now I'm tapping at about 60. And I'm going to play it on 2 and 4. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2. So technically, this is 120. Because since it's on 2 and 4, it's at 60, but yeah. When you double it, because I'm missing 1 and 3, it's at 120. 1, 2, a 3, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 4, a 1. I'm still in 1. 2, 3, 4, a 1, a 2, a 1, 2. Okay. There it is. See, I like how that ended. Because that's not a way that I typically ended it. So my mistake became something cool. So there are multiple ways to end that lick, right? I made up 3 so far. 3 departing points. It's all on that last note. The first one is just what I've been doing. And then the next one is. And then the one after that. No. And then I just made. Which is kind of like this Parker lick that I did yesterday that I wrote down. That's exactly what I just did. 2, 3, 4. Or like I just did my scale that I've been working on. My scale in thirds. So it's like scales carry across a bunch of things. Okay. Where was I? That's it. Okay. I'm going to record that one before I forget it. Alright. Now I'm going to play this fast. So I think I got this lick down pretty well. So let's go a little faster. So I wrote down that I had that lick at 92. Definitely under. Let's go at, let's see how fast I can push it. Sometimes it's bad to skip this much, but I don't want to waste time either. So I didn't mess up a single one at 100, which is 200 beats per minute, which is pretty awesome. Um, but I definitely had a pause in the second half of the Circle of Fists. I couldn't think of my flat keys, which is typical for me because typically everything's written in concert F and concert B flat, which is my G and D. And so I barely get to play those until I get to C sharp minor 7 and F sharp minor 7. So I should start there probably and see if I could string them together. Maybe I'll do 5 times in a row each, and then 3 times in a row each, and then 1 time in a row each. Let's see if I can do that. Whoa. So there I did it backwards. I failed going forwards. I went F, B flat, E flat, A flat. It didn't work out. Then I went A flat, E flat, B flat, F, and it worked. So let's see if I can do that again. Oh. There we go. Now let's see if I can do it the other way. See? So it's like really being like a scientist. It's like, oh man, this method didn't work. Okay, so my theory was this. What's it called? A thesis, right? So it's like you make a thesis. Okay, if I do this, then this should happen. Okay, that didn't work. Alright, so let me try this. If I do this, let's see if I could get the result I desired. And then, hey, it worked. Not all things you practice are going to be accomplished in the same way, you know? That helps. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright, so typically when I'm 40 minutes in, I'll take a break. But you know what? I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to test myself on my previous lick before I go. And I think I'm going to show you my transcription. So, there's a song called... How about instead of testing... Maybe I'll do both. Well, you know, let's do like that taco commercial. Why not both? Here we go. hotkeys. Let's see if I can get it right. Wait, let me empty out. There we go. That's pretty good. So I'm working on a song called I Remember You, which is where I got that lick I just played from. And here it is. So this is what it sounds like. So I took the song and I wrote out every single note on his solo for Charlie Parker. And this is my chicken scratch version right here. So he plays a lot of stuff. There's a little bit of a page over here. And then you play along with it and you try to absorb the person's sound. Oh, goodness gracious. So so that's full speed and it's really fast. So I've been playing it with a YouTube video because on YouTube you could slow it down. Here we go. Give me 1 second. I just have to pull it up. So, and change the speed.
Fresh skin.
Oh, it's giving me unnecessary commercials. Here we go. So I'm gonna yesterday I did pretty good at the end of the practice with this at like 90. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna play with the whole song now. I got this part in my transcription, so I pretty much finished like, I started the second half of the transcription 8 bars ago, so my goal is to get that a little bit down. So without the recording in the background, the whole thing sounds like. I definitely took the last part very, very slow. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna work on after I'm done this little practice break. If you made it this far, awesome. If you are, done and you left already, that's cool. I'm gonna take a little break and then come back to practice in 15 minutes, but not live stream it. Alrighty then. Oh yeah, and it's like dinner time for me. So thanks for joining me. I hope you got a few good tips. If you kept me unmuted, if you didn't keep me unmuted, and you were just practicing alongside with the time, yeah, that's great too. Whatever works for you. I thought that this practice session was full of good tips. I hope you learned a little bit. And yeah, happy practicing. See you guys. Have a great night.